Hi, I'm Jessica Sabatini.
And I'm Catherine Phillips, and we're with the Center for Integrated Transformation, which is dedicated to the creation of a new world through the inner transformation of individuals, communities, and businesses.
And this is part 2 of our Stepping into Flow series, which is It Isn't Rational, Go Buy a Tropical Fish.
So as modern people, especially educated modern people living in the United States, we tend to believe that anything that isn't rational is not worthy of our attention, or is definitely kind of subpar underneath whatever is rational. And the challenge for a lot of modern educated people as we try to make this transition from linear to fluid ways of living is that we have to expand our understanding of how we access knowledge, how we make decisions, how we navigate the world beyond reason. It doesn't mean that we throw out reason or that we denigrate reason or we don't appreciate the value that it has and the knowledge that it can bring to us about the world. It means that we expand outward and acknowledge that there are other parts of our self and that are able to access knowledge in ways that are extremely helpful and more life-giving ultimately, and that can bring a deeper, fuller wisdom to navigating life.
But sometimes it feels really irrational. These impulses, these ideas that your gut is telling you to do. So, looking at the chart we created in part 1 is, let's say we have a woman we work with who is building a business, wanted the successful business. So it's like, here I am here and I need to, put this into place and make this meeting happen and put this program and market this and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da to get to here. And, kept pushing and pushing and pushing herself and really wasn't getting anywhere in what she was doing. So we take her through this exercise of really getting into what does your gut say? What is other information? What does your body say? What is calling to you to achieve this goal? So here she comes in and she said, I need to go buy a tropical fish. What? So it seems like this has nothing to do with getting to your goal, but I need to go buy this tropical fish. And it made no sense, but she was in such a place of trust and belief in herself and listening to her own calling of what to do and take action that she's willing to go buy this tropical fish. Now, what happens over the coming months is she begins to have this gorgeous aquarium in her office, and it brings so much joy to her. So there's the beautiful fish, and she comes into the office, and instead of sitting down and pushing to make things happen, she has to feed the fish. And every now and then she has to clean the tank. And there are times when she's stressed out, she doesn't know what to do. I'm trying to write this thing, and you hear the bubbles. And sit back and just take a few moments to meditate about this, on this beauty in her home and this care that she's given. They take care and that she's added to this life and added to this sense of flow. So her workplace became a place she really enjoyed instead of this place of pressure. And really started opening up to flow. So the tropical, and she had something to talk about with potential clients and things like that. And people would come in and they'd talk about the fish. And it really just created much more of an openness to her. And the amount of joy that she got from trusting that gut instinct of something that did not make sense to her mind, but it really trusting it to her gut. She began to then open up to other things that her gut was saying and began to really just open and say, okay, now I'm going to trust this, and to see her business really start to flourish, which is really fun to be a part of.
And so the lesson from that story is really that if we are willing to open ourselves up to beauty, to passion, to joy, to, what is stirring in our gut and making us deeply excited, and integrate those things into even our businesses, not just, as this fringe thing that we do on the side, but even into our business life, that can often be what unsticks a stuck business. That can often be what unsticks a stuck career, is trusting these deeper parts of ourselves that they are calling out to you and they need to be integrated. And that's really what is going to allow you to step into the fullness of your power and make you a much more effective professional person, and also just bring more joy and fullness and richness to your life. But if you get stuck in this, but it's not rational, if she had stayed in that stress of, I have, 20 things on my to-do list to do, I don't have time to go buy a freaking tropical fish, nor do I need one more thing to do in my day. Like, if that had been her mindset, she would have just stayed in this, like,
rigid.
Yeah, and that sensation that we've all had where we're, like, banging our head against a wall and don't seem to be making any progress and are stressed out and burned out and not satisfied with life. And feeling stuck.
And you know, so as you're exploring what your next steps are and what to do, be aware of that. But that doesn't make sense. But that's not realistic. But that's not rational. And don't try to then mentally analyze, why should I buy that tropical fish? Oh, I'm going to make it make sense. You don't have to understand it. It doesn't have to make total sense. And you don't even have to see such a direct link, but it got you in motion. It gets you, you know, this is what my irrational mind is telling me what I need to do, or, you know, a part of my gut is telling me what to do. I don't know how it's eventually going to go, but I feel motion. I feel I'm in motion. I'm able to flow. I'm able to get things moving, and in that wonderful way. So if you would like to hear more about and find more ways to step into flow, to practice listening to the gut and following what's revealing around you versus having to figure it all out in your head, please do check out some of our programs and services, or even download a free meditation at www.centerforintegratedtransformation.com.
And remember that change is not only possible, it's already happening within yourself and in the world.